just can't accept what you're seeing. Yet you're coping and seething. The truth that is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
Holy crap! Holy crap!
Victimizers beware! The racist and bigots' greatest nightmares! Social justice warriors! Get triggered!
It's the bias response team!
If you've been offended, your feelings must be defended. Go! The freedom of expression is a microaggression! Here comes Antifa Freddy! He's always ready to fight fascism with fascism!
Starbucks windows don't stand a chance.
Ethic enhancer. He's a systematic racism finder. Using the powers of screaming and shame, they win every debate by calling your name. They're heroes who think that they're victims. Social justice warriors. Get triggered.
Go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them. With the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
But hey, that's just a theory. A theory.
Yahoo! We go!
Hell yeah. But it's me, Mario.
Yeah, tell it to the judge.
Power one, the power two, the power
Down to Papa Road, please 182.
the power one, the power two, the power
It's astounding. This mortal really is something else. Look at that brilliant form. There can be no doubt. This is the true power, complete in all its majesty. This is Autonomous Ultra Incel.
Engines roar through the ash-gray skies. The wasteland burns, but hope won't die. Every screen's a twisted lie, built to break us, make us comply. They poison the heroes, rewrite the tales, turn legends to dust, leave us frail. But we're not done, we won't bow down. Through the wreckage, we'll take the crown. Steel hearts ignite, fire in our veins. Freedom's calling, breaking the chains. They can't erase what we already know. HyperDrive now,
full screen. What's going on? Who knows? Oh, well, we'll get on with it anyway. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Yes, it's time. It's drive time somewhere, which means it's hyperdrive time everywhere. Straight out of hell. It's WILL, a higher class of human, a better type of bastard. And ladies, gentlemen, and nothing in between, welcome back to another voyage of discovery, racing through the wastes of the internet to the further reaches of sanity on a never-ending quest to rid the universe of absolute bollocks. Now, before I get into anything else, let's just address a couple of things. There seems to be some confusion. I'm not interviewing anybody. There was an interview, and I'm going to be covering it. Secondly, in the poll exists because of a certain live stream that took place not that long ago, where a certain query was raised, which basically, you know, the person responsible couldn't possibly have you guess who that might have been, but just think, you know, someone you really can't stand. And they were sort of basically saying, you know, yes, I want to deplatform absolutely everybody that I disagree with politically and ideologically one by one. And, you know, then there was this message in the chat that said, well, you know, hey, won't those ad dollars go to somebody else who won't be right-wing? If all the right-wing channels are gone, if all the anti-left channels are gone, I guess that means that people like you have absolutely no choice but to give your money to the left. So that's what the poll is about. And now that I've clarified that, double check before you answer. All right, guys, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate you. We got raided by Hypnotic as well, so much respect to you for that, buddy, and everybody for coming along. Appreciate you guys. Well, now, before we set off, couple ground rules. Ensure you keep your brains inside the vehicle at all times with your eyeballs firmly screwed to the screen. Now, let's see. We've got some people here already. Obviously, this doesn't usually happen first show of the week. It takes people a couple of days to remember that I exist. So that's nice. First up, we got Divining Dragon with his happy non-denominational equal opportunity blessings for everybody, the kind of blessings that we can get on board with. And I appreciate you for that, buddy. Tons of other stuff here. A lot of discussion about Doctor Who. Of course, that's been absolutely insane lately. Now, hallelujah. Ncuti is gone. It is, as we all confirmed, even the rumor was true, as it turns out that he regenerated and it turned out to be Billy Piper. I mean, Jesus Christ. How to tell us that you are completely tapped for ideas, Russell. Okay, buddy, whatever you say, man. The fact that she didn't even get credited as the Doctor as well is hilarious. So we'll get into all of that. Of course, we've got a sizable chunk of Doctor Who to get through, as well as some stuff pertaining to just sort of general gaming news and a fair old slap of great big Claire Obscure Expedition 33 review. I've checked ahead and there don't appear to be any spoilers in there, which is good because I don't want spoilers. I haven't finished it yet. And I'm enjoying my theorizing. Especially because you guys keep telling me I'm like right on the money. So that's fun. Sardox here. Hello to you as well, buddy. Appreciate you for coming. Derek Smith as well. Shout out to you. UAFomega said he's not missing it this time. Not for hell or high water. So yes, appreciate you. Popcorn Power as well. Accident Seller. Skibbity dub. Yes is here as well. Love to see it. Lovely to see you all. Roadkill 101. Hello again to you. Nice to see you. Mr. Sardock is also on Rumble, by the way. So if you are on Rumble and not on YouTube, that's absolutely fine. I got you covered there as well. uafomega says he got Hypno to raid Will when he ended his game stream. Welcome to those that hung around. Appreciate you guys. I'm sorry. I was even a couple of minutes late today because someone pointed out correctly that I had a typo in the title and it wasn't even supposed to be the word review. It was supposed to be the word interview. So thanks for that. It's first thing in the morning for me. There might be a few hiccups and glitches as I get back into the grind after a couple of days off. Divining Dragon points out that there hasn't really been that much of an obnoxious push of Pride this year, which you can assume has something to do with who's in the White House, or it might be any number of other factors, or just the number of countries that are turning around now and the populations are saying shove that shit up your ass and not in the way that you want to. So there you go. I mean, I guess it wasn't enough a couple of years ago when people were marching around Target, tearing down their displays and stuff. I think the point has been made abundantly clear now. The overwhelming majority of the population of this planet want nothing to do with your degeneracy disguised as pride. Get in the sea. Fact. So there's that. Of course, we've got more people here. Rio is here as well. Shout out to you. Neely B is here as well as Eastland Burkholder. Hello to you as well. Whoever is here that may not always come here is always welcome, of course. Thank you, Extra. Says, I like the stream. Lily B says that ending was so bolted on, it looked like they added it on with super glue. Indeed. Philip Nichols says, just popping by. Always welcome. Ray Valkyrie is here as well. Welcome to you. And Tribal Chief Ganondorf, parry them. Parry the rainbows. That's right, baby. Parry those rainbows. Welcome, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Now, of course, you know the rules. You know how it works. If you've ever been on Hypno's channel, you know how it is. If you are here or on Rumble and you are liking the stream.
Like the stream.
Like the stream, guys. Like the stream. It helps to keep this ship in the skies, helps to pick up some more lost souls along the way. And of course, if you were able to watch this show on Twitch, which you can't because I'm not that lame, then well,
I'm going to be totally honest with you. This is sounding really gay.
If you have any questions, comments, or you just want to pull over for a second, don't forget you can tip your driver or join the Grift Force. Get those emojis and unlock extra perks and back catalogs of streams, as well as some videos that are no longer welcome publicly. So with all of that said, appreciate you guys being here. Lovely to see you. I am excited for this one. I'm looking forward to this stream and looking forward to it all night. So let's get into this as soon as we can. Wow, William Hestelo. Sorry, I'm not very good at pronouncing that one. $5 straight out the gate. Damn near pre-stream legend status right there, which is another term invented by Hypno that I haven't come up with a replacement for yet, so I'll just rip it off wholesale. Thank you very much for the $5 to the voice of reason. That's me? Really? This guy? This guy? All right. Fair enough. Appreciate you. Yes, thank you so much for that. We have a goal. If we get halfway, we get some anime bubbies. If we get halfway, you get a gaming stream. If we get all the way, we get anime bubbies and a gaming stream. I have some ideas for some new tiers as well, by the way. A little bit of a plan going on, a little bit of a roasting of some other people as well. We'll be involved in that, but not in a bad way, in a loving homage kind of way. That's homage, not gommage. All right. Anyway, let's start the show. We have got a lot to talk about. We're probably going to get caught up in Doctor Who for ages as well, like we always bloody do. So let's see what's happening, guys. We got 70 people watching. We've got 36 likes. Guys.
Like the stream.
All right, let's get into it then. We've got this article that's come out of comicbookmovie.com. Doctor Who leak explains why Ncuti Gatwa left series following shock regeneration in the season finale. Almost just missed you there, skibbity. €2.50 attack on all fronts. Rather the front than the rear, my friend. Rather the front than the rear. Appreciate you. Okay, yes. So obviously we know what happened on the Saturday episode of Doctor Who, which for me was on Sunday, because they had to do their ridiculous, desperate simulcast bollocks. In other words, they released the episode in the entire world at the same time when it would broadcast. God, got to get rid of that. That's better. On terrestrial television, thus basically meaning that those of us who would get it 18 hours earlier when it went up on Disney Plus were kind of told to go fuck ourselves. That was it. You know, you guys can wait and review it at the same time as everybody else. That's what they did last year. They also put it in cinemas just like they did last year. Anything and everything. They threw the kitchen sink at this to try and drag those pitiful ratings up. They were absolutely desperate to get people to watch this blasted show, because it is actually something that poses a little bit of an existential threat to the BBC if they cannot get people to watch this show. This show was a flagship for so very long, It was the be-all and end-all of the BBC, right behind Top Gear, which they've also lost because they absolutely suck at keeping their talent happy, especially when their talent don't particularly want to vote for crazy leftists. I know, right? Go figure. So, of course, the series started with 2 million, which was rather pathetic. And a couple of times it spiked beyond that. This one is the most interesting. 2.57 million, almost as high as the first episode of the last series, which was otherwise the highest it's ever had. So why did this happen? Well, everybody knows already. The FA Cup final was on immediately before it, which is one of the biggest football matches of the year. And it was on in pubs, and the pubs were probably going to leave their tellies on like they did last year, which accounted for a gigantic spike in the ratings for Doctor Who then as well. Doesn't hurt either that Eurovision Song Contest was on immediately after Doctor Who. So you pretty much could not have had a more perfect placement, especially for an episode that was a pastiche and homage to the Eurovision Song Contest, even though that made absolutely no fucking sense whatsoever, considering you're supposedly telling me that we've got an Earth cultural international event that has now become an interstellar event happening in space in the same timeline where the Earth never makes it beyond May 23rd, 2025. Okay, fair enough, whatever you say, bud, but you know, it was terrible. And of course, right at the end here, we got 2.17 million. No surprises there. The finale always does better than the rest of the show. We knew as well they had the extra wrinkle in this one of having people basically knowing that this was going to be arguably the last ever episode of Doctor Who. And for now, that's exactly what it is. Unless and until we get an announcement to the contrary, which we haven't had. We have nothing else. This is it. The end of Doctor Who. That's it. And to be fair, no one wants it to come back either. If you are new here and you are part of the people who came with the raid and you're not sure what I'm all about here, I'm all about hashtag RIP Doctor Who. Let it go, let it die. The corpse is already it should have been in the ground years ago, but they've kept dragging it up. And I mean that in both senses, and parading it around like a mockery of its former self. We want them to stop. Then the fans can begin to actually say goodbye. That's the only right way to deal with this, and it's the only way that we'll ever get them any peace, because we're never going to stop. We're never going to stop telling them to get their fucking filthy hands off our beloved intellectual property. This cultural vandalism cannot be allowed to continue. We will not suffer it to continue. So there, that's what we're all about around here. So Doctor Who is effectively dead now, finally. This has never happened before, by the way, not since 1989 has this ever happened. There's always been an announcement of another episode coming. There's always been an announcement of a Christmas special at the end of the year. There's always been something next to come. They've got a replacement Doctor cast before the current Doctor regenerates. They've got an announcement that there'll be this series, there'll be that series. There's always something else, which is why it was so conspicuous when Russell T Davies started saying, well, it's normal practice at the BBC for us to never announce another series until we know how the current series is done. Bullshit. Maybe if you're a brand new show, like in its first season, I could understand that. But if you are a cultural touchstone and a flagship product of the BBC, they would be desperate to have any reason to announce another series of Doctor Who, if only to fell all of us, because that's all this last series was, a series of pathetic attempts by Russell T Davies to insult the fans. We had, of course, Planet of the Incels. We had hashtag RIP Doctor Who in an episode. We had an entire episode dedicated to an alt-right conspiracy theorist who behaved like a leftist in his actual practices. And then, of course, right at the end, we had Wish World, which was a world created to be a dystopian nightmare where everybody is straight and getting married and having kids. I know, right? And then, of course, we saw the undoing of that in the most recent episode, as every single person broke their programming from the Wish World, and Ncuti Gatwa took off his suit and put on a dress. And, and when questioned about it, he said he was wearing the future. Yeah, well, the future is there's no more Doctor Who. So how you feel about that, buddy? At the end of the day, here's the thing. The BBC might be as desperate as they can possibly be to get more Doctor Who, if only for the ceremonial victory of it all. But they're going to have to take a severe budgetary cut if that's going to happen. The BBC has never been more poor. And Disney, well, I mean, let's go knock at Disney and say, hey, guys, are you going to give more money to the BBC? There's a lot of people, well, there's about 1 million people who really want you to continue funding Doctor Who. Yeah. So anyway, that brings us about up to speed. In the last desperate gambit to get some interest generated, at the end of the day, they had nothing left but to turn Ncuti Gatwa's regeneration into Billy goddamn Piper. Now, let me just address this again, and I'm going to go full screen for this, so I want to make this clear as I possibly can. Miss or Mrs. Piper, I'm pretty sure she's married with kids. It's nothing personal, okay? Big fan, always appreciated your work in previous Doctor Who. If they do try to push this forward with more episodes with you as the Doctor, I'm not going to stop. No one else is going to stop. It makes no difference to us. It is nothing personal. It's the principle, and that will be all there is to that. So back to the present then. Doctor Who leak explains why Ncuti Gatwa left series following shock regeneration in the season finale. In Saturday's season 2, 15 or 41 finale, Ncuti Gatwa bid farewell to Doctor Who when his iteration of the Time Lord regenerated into Billy Piper. It's still ridiculous to say. Now we have a word on what led to his departure from the series. No matter what they say it was us. No matter what they say, oh, actually, I'll show you what it was. Because let's not forget, it was Ncuti Gatwa who gave us the immortal quote, if you don't like all this gay shit, basically, then go touch grass. Do not watch.
Don't watch. Turn off the TV. Go and touch grass, please, for God's sake.
Yeah, Mr. TARDIS is kind of like a Chris Stuckman type, except severely more communist. So there you go. Anyway, whatever they say, we know why. We know why. He felt it himself, and the fans rejected it outright. It was worse than with Jodie Whittaker. Whittaker. Over the years, Doctor Who has frequently been the subject of leaks, though that's perhaps an inevitability for any series with such a dedicated fan base. Such a broken, dedicated fan base. Accident Seller for Norwegian 20 says, breaking news, Bella Ramsey is the next Doctor. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you just imagine if they actually did that? Oh no. That would be the worst possible thing they could do. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the new Doctor, Bella Ramsey.
I don't really care, Margaret.
I mean, it would just felt them again. It would be even worse. There's no way that's true, right? Now I feel like I got to check because it's completely believable. Oh, please God, no. Please God, no. Not involved in Doctor Who in any significant way at all. Good. Whew. Thank you, AI, for making that quick. You might as well tell me it's going to be Lily Phillips or someone like that. It's just ridiculous at this point. Dylan Mulvaney. Oh my God. Gosh sakes. Yeah. The last actually male Doctor was Peter Capaldi. And also that's the last canonical Doctor for most people as well. Anyway, in the case of Series 2, which again is actually the 15th series of Modern Who, or the 41st series of Total Who, the mysterious insider known only as Andrew has shared every early word on everything from Susan to the Rani, the 15th Doctor's regeneration, and even Billy Piper's surprise debut as a character believed to be the 16th Doctor. this is not true. No one believes that she is the 16th Doctor. And there's a very obvious reason why. In the credits, every single time the Doctor regenerates, they have 2 lots of credits. So they have the main credits, and then they have blah, blah as the Doctor, giving way to introducing blah, blah as the Doctor. That's how they do it every time for years and years and years now. What did we get this time? We had Ncuti Gatwa as the Doctor. Then I think it was like Archie Punjabi or someone as the Rani. And then introducing Billy Piper. That was it. The end. Didn't say what character. Didn't say anything about the Doctor. For all we know, it might just be a flicker on the way to the rest of the regeneration. Because there's a very conspicuous moment in the regeneration. Typically speaking, whenever a Doctor has regenerated, since Eccleston, there's been a little effect where their face kind of morphs into the next person's face. You see it in all the effects and stuff surrounding it, but that's what you get. You see the moment their face transforms in close-up. And in this case, there was a good 10, 15 frames of just regeneration where it over-consumed the face, Gatwa's face disappeared entirely, and Billy Piper's face appeared. So there was no twisting or morphing of features or anything like that. Nothing whatsoever. So that's extremely conspicuous. It suggests a couple of things. It suggests that they had no plan. Like we said, there was no plan. They knew Gatwa was out and they had nothing they could do. They were probably trying to coax him back. They were probably trying to do everything they could. They were running interference for every single rumor, every leak, every tabloid article talking about how the show is done, the show is felted, the rumors, the ratings are in the toilet, and Ncuti Gatwa has left. We all knew Ncuti Gatwa had left. We knew he left over a year ago. We knew he left when he went to London Comic Con and appeared as the Doctor on a panel, because they only do that when they have finished playing the Doctor. There's never been an active Doctor at London Comic Con, or any Comic Con for that matter. Anyway, that's all the signs you need. The Billy Piper thing was absolutely tacked on at the last fucking minute. And again, nothing personal to Billy Piper. Very much enjoyed her as Rose/Bad Wolf. And she's a nice lady. I see nothing that she's ever done or said that's offended me in any way, apart from the obvious work she's had done on her face, which is a little disturbing. Poor love. But anyway, I'm not going to stop criticizing the show if they dare to actually run with this. Because at that point, you'd have a Doctor who is being played by someone an earlier Doctor fell in love with. It's just nonsense. And there's another David Tennant Doctor still in play. I didn't see any evidence of him getting destroyed by the time reality mesh that went on, if that's even what went on. So, you don't know. For all we know, there's a Billy Piper Doctor and a David Tennant Doctor at the same time. I don't care. I don't want to see this. Anyway... Accident Sellers here for another Norwegian 20 says Bella Ramsey is Dr. Downey in her retardis. Yep. In fact, the logo for Who TF Cares, our show with the three of us in the burning TARDIS, that's literally the file name for that is retardis. So, yeah, thank you very much for that. Yeah. Anyway. So apparently we had all the insider stuff about Susan Foreman reappearing in Doctor Who, and of course the Rani who was defeated far too easily, just literally picked up and eaten. If Omega had, oh god, there's so much to pull apart from this fucking episode. If Omega had appeared as Omega and not a giant snarling Mum-Ra monster, shout out to MagesGuild for the Mum-Ra reference, by the way, nice parody. Then he wouldn't have just eaten the Rani, and the Rani would still be alive. Instead, the Rani got picked up and defeated in a second. And then the other Rani said, so much for the two Ranis, it's good night for me, and teleported away. So God knows whatever happened to her. But Susan Foreman, she was supposed to be in this. We got literally nothing from that. Nothing. She was hinted at in the Interstellar Space Song Contest or whatever the fuck it was. And that was it. Then we thought we were probably going to find her involved in some way in this. Nope. Nope. Nothing. Literally nothing. Then we got, obviously, the issue of the Rogue, too, who, if you're not familiar, The Rogue is the man that Ncuti Gatwa's doctor last series decided was worth abandoning his companion for and chasing around the 19th century for a couple of hours until eventually, and trying all of his best tricks to seduce him, by the way, like flipping on some Kylie Minogue and humping the air. The Doctor, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, so that basically is the moment when we all realize this show was never coming back. Actually, there's a lot of them, so your mileage may vary. But yeah, the Rogue was then banished to some sort of quote-unquote hell dimension. Not hell, just a hell dimension. And then he appeared on the TV to tell the Doctor the way to snap out of the wish world reality that he was trapped in as a straight married man and a father. And the last thing he said was, "I love you," as the TV got flipped off, which is hilarious because, again, they spent a total of about a couple hours together. How the fuck can you fall in love like that? Is a pathetic attempt to turn Grindr culture into some sort of romance, because all that was intergalactic Grindr. Just a random man appears, Doctor goes, "Oh, I bet he's gay," decides to aggressively pursue him, and then by the end they're both in love with each other, and it literally is over the course of an evening. Absolutely insane. Love doesn't work like that no matter what sexuality you are. It takes a long time to really love someone. Anyway, no matter what, I mean, you can't go Disney with this and have love at first sight. It doesn't happen that way. You have infatuation at first sight. Or maybe just straight lust. Either way, you don't end the evening by telling each other you love each other. Come on. What are you, 14? Anyway, here's what it is. And the 15th Doctor's regeneration, even Billie Piper's surprise debut as a character believed to be the 16th Doctor, no one has confirmed or even rumored. In fact, more people are talking about how she's probably not the 16th Doctor. So that's bullshit. Ncuti Gatwa's departure from Doctor Who shocked many fans. No, it didn't. We all knew it was coming for weeks and weeks and weeks. We were arguing about it with the Whovian Hootards as they were fighting us, the Truvians, if you like. And we were all just saying, you guys are going to get wrecked. Gatwa is regenerating. No, he's not. He's not regenerating. He's fine. He's coming back. Gatwa's the best Doctor ever. Fucking hell. Bruv, calm down. I don't care if you feel like Gatwa's the best Doctor. It doesn't matter. He's not. He's objectively terrible at this job. He's an actor who played the Doctor, and not convincingly. The Barbie star only took center stage 2 Christmas specials in a total of 16 installments, so he's one of the shortest tenured Doctors of all time. Second only to Eccleston, who left. I think he's the second only to Eccleston, who left because he couldn't stand Russell T. Davies or Jane Tranter or Julie Gardner or Phil Collinson or any of the other bad wolf bastards. He refused to stay and work with them because they were taking credit for all of his work. It was an absolute shit show, Series 1, and he knew it. And it's not just that. It's also that Russell T. Davies is a scamming, scheming, gossipy old bitch. Tough titties. Anyway, in the first 8 episodes of Russell T. Davies's latest revival, it wasn't a revival. It wasn't a fucking revival. It was a continuation, and it was the death sentence. Gatwa's Hollywood commitments meant he played a noticeably smaller role in some episodes. What Hollywood commitments? What's he been in? He hasn't had a mainstream role since he played Black Gay Ken in Barbie, which was barely a role. I don't think he even had a line of dialogue, did he? I don't know. I know he's dancing in the Ken song, but that's about it. Anyway, whatever. They're trying to make out here that it has something or anything to do with him having commitments in Hollywood. No, it's got everything to do with the fact that he was despised and that he offended everybody with every single interview he gave. He insulted the fans. He insulted the longtime fans. He desecrated the show. He was responsible for a hell of a lot of BS. As a result, it's hard to shake the feeling he never got to show his full potential as the Doctor. I think he did. What did we get? We got him mincing. We got him flouncing. We got him being excessively camp. We got him crying. We got him tearing up. We got him screaming and reeing and spitting with rage and despair over someone not wanting to go with him and never actually saying why. He just decided it was because he was brown. We got him virtue signaling about being black. We got him virtue signaling about being gay. That's pretty much his entire range. That's it. That's all he is. I mean, the Doctor wasn't so much the Doctor in this series as it was Ncuti Gatwa. The Doctor was played as a flamboyantly gay millennial. That's all there is to it. So anyway, his stint in the TARDIS was truncated, apparently. Well, good. He was fucking awful. As we first reported on SSFFGazette.com, Andrew has provided some insights into what led to Gatwa's departure. He decided, apparently, to jump ship and move on once it became clear Disney weren't going to renew anytime soon. Well,
I sure hope somebody picks up that phone.
Do what?
Because I f***ing called it!
and he didn't want to stay tied to Doctor Who when production on Series 3. If it does happen, it's still some way off. It's not coming. And if it does somehow, it will be terrible. It will look like the 80s again. It will look like Series 1 again in 2005. The BBC don't have the budget they once had. They don't have the TV licensees that they once had. People are refusing to pay them. I did call it, yes. I fucking did. A million times I called it. Hence why they filmed this regeneration earlier in the year. Yeah, they got him back to film his regeneration. Which means sizable reshoots, by the way, because half the episode is dedicated to his regeneration. Literally, the bad guys and the whole setting and everything that's wrong with the world that needs fixing is done by the halfway point. The threat is gone. The bad guys are dead or disappeared. Omega's locked back where he belongs. It's all done. It's done. Done and done. But there you go. It is what it is, I suppose. It is what it is. Anyway, just in time for $2 says it gave a whole new meaning to Doctor Who is on BBC. Haha, I see what you did there. And of course, Adam Juman for 5 Will of the Fans memberships. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you both. You lucky people. Alrighty. Thank you, Adam. So, yeah, I mean, everything has happened exactly the way that I said it would, that plenty of other people said it would. I'm pretty sure, like, Goldie was calling it. I know Bowlestrek was calling it. I know Dan from Spacebook was calling it. I know Mr. H was calling it. It's, you know, everyone and their mums was calling it. Nerdrotic, even though he barely covers it anymore, was calling it. Silver's Babyface was calling it. Everybody knew this is the end. This is what it's going to be. Gat was back. He's filming a regeneration because they cannot get Disney to finance this because Disney gave them $100 million and they got the lowest ratings it's ever had. Lower than Classic Who. Lower than any. Literally two an episode lower than Classic Who. Fucking appalling if you count just the overnights, which you should because that's the only fair comparison to Classic Who. We didn't have iPads and Wi-Fi back in the day. You wish it had just cut to black. Yeah, I know. It should have just cut to black and said, and like had some old, like, you know, film staticky, weird little flickery bits of light and hair and stuff on the screen and just gone beep, beep, beep and gone, you know, episode no longer possible because due to funding cuts. Blame Disney. They gave him $100 million, right? No, $100 million. Yeah, dollars, not quite, not pounds. $100 million to make 26 episodes. $100 million. Okay. And they made 5 specials. They made 2 seasons of 8, so 16, so 21. And there's still the war between the land and the sea, which is a spin-off. That will be the last Doctor Who thing for the foreseeable future. pretty terrible, really. They wasted 5 episodes of what they could have done on a Russell T Davies fucking spin-off. It isn't even Torchwood. All right, whatever. Look, the show has never, ever felt so pathetically low and felted in the entire run. Never. Not once. Anyway, if Ncuti's first season had been a rating success, Disney would have wanted to snap him for season 3 much sooner. Oh, look at that. It's called Cause and Effect. Oh, but 2 + 2 does equal 4 then. Oh, okay. Day and night do actually follow on from one another. And if you are obnoxious, cringe, and you try to alienate the fans and at worst insult the fans, they won't watch. And if they don't watch, you can't justify the show's existence, and you certainly can't justify it to its principal investor, who themselves are getting felted left, right, and center for their own insane ideology as well. Apparently he was paid $700,000. Yeah, I know, yeah. He's already a millionaire. I know. And anyway, the point is that Disney wanted Bluey, okay? I've already played the clip that you've seen my RTD song. No matter what Russell T Davies says, the BBC were not keen to continue. They were going to cancel it. Russell T Davies got backing from Sony for Bad Wolf and got Disney to pony up some cash, sure that he could save the show, but he poisoned the well immediately. The day that he cast Ncuti Gatwa was the moment we all knew this show was fucked. Fucked beyond recognition. Like, you could have bounced back, just barely bounced back from Jodie Whittaker if we had had Russell T Davies circa 2005. But unfortunately, this is Russell T Davies 2023 who came back, or 22 or whatever. And actually, he is so brainwashed at this point by all the woke shit that he poisoned the well immediately. The last time Disney were associated with Doctor Who was at the Edinburgh Festival. And they came out and they said, oh, it's really great. We really love having Doctor Who. Then there was a convention in LA and Disney did not show up. That was, for me, the moment I knew Disney were not going to refund. No way they were going to fund any more Doctor Who. They got Bluey. And you know what the other thing is? All the fucking simp channels like Mr. TARDIS and Theories and all of those idiots try to say, they'll try, oh, well, Disney Plus, it got really good numbers on Disney Plus. Hello. I looked at the ratings. I looked at Samba TV every week last year. I didn't bother this year because it doesn't matter anymore. But I looked every week last year, and I looked at the Disney Plus charts on Flix Patrol or something it's called. I don't know what's called. And also, what was the other one? Of course, Nielsen. And let's be honest here. There was a top 10. There's a top 10 on Samba of all streaming platforms. All of them. Okay? Netflix takes about 5 spots all the time. The rest end up with HBO Max or what's the other one? Paramount very occasionally. But it's basically just Netflix and HBO pretty much all the time. And Disney is very lucky if they ever chart. And if they chart, the only thing that's charting for them is Bluey, because it's the #1 thing on Disney Plus by fucking miles. I'm talking like triple the numbers of part of the second highest thing on Disney Plus. Doctor Who ranked consistently 7th, 6th, or 5th place on Disney's own charts, usually for one day when it actually came out. It never charted for Disney. And Disney, the only time I ever saw Disney chart on the Nielsen's in that whole duration, it was in like the number 10 spot or the number 9 spot. And the show that was 1 spot higher, I can't remember what it was called. I went and looked into it, found the actual numbers for it. It was getting 80,000 views. So Doctor Who did worse than that. $100 million well spent, guys. Well spent. Money well spent. Fucking unbelievable. So when you're getting 2 million people when you used to get 13 or 10 or 9 or 7 regularly, you're getting 2 million now. You're getting, at worst, you're getting 1.5 million people watching the show in its native country, where it's supposed to be representative of the culture of that country, but isn't anymore. You can't get people to tune in and watch the damn show on a pre-watershed 10, like 6, 7 p.m. time slot on a Saturday before people go out. Madness. Dinner time on a Saturday. Okay. You can't get people to watch Doctor Who. Even with the consolidated ratings, you still can't get higher that week than 2.8 million. The week after, 2.7 million, the lowest consolidated rating of all time. Which, by the way, was for the African episode. The one with the spider, space monster spider thingy that runs on stories and is somehow managed to find its way into the Nexus powered by a guy who apparently knew some gods once. Of course, this little barbershop is actually on the back of a giant armored space spider roaming through space or something on a web of something made of something doing something for some reason that we'll never really understand. We'll never understand because the writing fell apart. Exactly. Will. Back to me. So there we go. Now, it's very simple. Cause and effect. If Ncuti's first season had been a success, they would have snapped him up for more. RTD was clearly expecting them to, so he wouldn't leave. Yeah, they didn't. They didn't because you took $100 million of them, wiped your ass with it, and then just sprayed that shit, that pride crap all over the entire show. Brilliant. It's funny, isn't it, the way they schedule this stuff? Because last year they scheduled it for Pride Month so that it would finish in June. This year, it finished in July, actually. This year, it finished in May. I don't know why they put it on then. They just did. I think it was to rush it out. And let's not forget the other thing that fell in this entire series, Series 2, 15 or 41, was the fact that it was written before Series 1, 14 or 40, had ever actually aired. And something happened in the middle of that. Something, I don't know if you've heard of it, but there's this guy who a lot of people on the left really, really hate. They really, really hate him. I don't know if you've heard of him. Let me see if I can find a picture of him. His name is, it's Donald Trump. And he became president of the United States of America again. And in the process began, obviously, with Doge, gutting every single ridiculous, corrupt, left-wing funding, ideologically possessed body in the world, proving pretty much every conspiracy that had ever happened to be true. Every theory was vindicated. Everybody who opposed this shit was vindicated. Every one of our opinions was validated, just like with this show. And then they came out with a whole bunch of anti-left propaganda for Series 2, 15 or 41, where they tried to insult anybody who may ideologically line up with MAGA or anything like it. So, and especially when they had a major key episode that feeds into the finale of a character who is, his whole purpose is to be a right-wing conspiracy theorist. Well, that doesn't quite land when all of the right-wing conspiracy theories have been proven, in fact, to be completely and totally fucking true. Now, does it, Russell? You absolute muppet. So there you go. This lines up with much of what we heard from both the trades and the tabloids. Doctor Who has not been a runaway success on streaming that Disney Plus expected. I know. You can just literally see the fucking difference from last year's advertising and this year's advertising. Let's not forget, last year, around about this time, maybe earlier in the year of 2024, we had shots of like Ncuti Gatwa standing at New York subway stations with his face emblazoned on the side of the trains. Doctor Who. You know? The joyride of an ultimate joyride or something, you know, Whoniverse, #Whoniverse. They really thought this was going to be a big, big push, a new era of Doctor Who, new woke, Doctor Wank. And they really thought it was going to be the fucking dog's bollocks. But, oh, I'm sorry, nobody cared. Literally, nobody fucking cared at all, ladies and gentlemen. There it was indeed. That was what we got. So this year, when we had the advertising from Disney, there was, in fact, none whatsoever. Nothing from Disney at all. Literally nothing. And the show didn't even get a big announcement for when it was coming out. Remember, the initial announcement of when Doctor Who would be coming out was farted out into a Six Nations under-21s rugby match. Like, seriously, that's how it was just trickled out onto the internet. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Anyway, that's made it less of a worthwhile investment for the streamer. Less of a worthwhile investment. Okay. And if season 3, with or without Disney Plus's involvement, still hasn't been confirmed, if the BBC decides to move forward with more episodes, a budget cut is inevitable, and Davis could be out as showrunner, given Doctor Who's recent struggles. What that means for Piper is unclear. Again, nothing personal, ma'am. Just is what it is. Though the credits crucially didn't introduce her as the Doctor. So then you're lying earlier on when you say people are believing it to be the 16th Doctor. They told us straight up it's not the 16th Doctor. Not yet. No. Might be just that the regeneration continues and she sort of stumbles around in the TARDIS until she pours it back into the heart of the TARDIS, and then the regeneration continues into somebody else. Oh, wait. That's not going to happen, is it? That's not going to happen. And why? Oh yeah, because the show is going to get fucking cancelled because nobody watched. Yeah. And you know what?
I don't really care, Margaret.
So there you go. So series 3, with or without Disney's involvement, still not confirmed. If the BBC does decide to move forward with the series, a budget cut is inevitable, and so is the humiliation. The humiliation of knowing that you got felted. You are going to have to push out a half-baked, trash-looking, low CG, crap fidelity-looking Doctor Who because you got snubbed by Disney. And everyone knows it. There's no one watching who's not going to notice. This looks way worse than it used to. 5-year-old kids, if they were watching, oh, God forbid, will be going, Mummy, Daddy, why does Doctor Who look so terrible now? Don't know, son. Just turn it off. It's gay. It's going to be embarrassing, buddy. It's going to be fucking embarrassing. It's going to be more embarrassing than anything for the BBC, because they'll only have their own TV license money back. And while the Labour government is trying to enforce that shit and stop it from being cancelled like it was supposed to be scheduled to be gone by 2027, it's not going to make a difference because a lot of people just don't bother because they don't use BBC. If you don't watch terrestrial TV and you don't use iPlayer, you are perfectly fine to not pay your TV license. There it is. And they'll try to litigate around that, of course, but fuck them. In the meantime, Davis could be out as showrunner given Doctor Who's recent struggles. Well, I mean, I think he's looking for any exit he can get. For sure, he's trying to set this up as a clean cut-off point, so anyone else, if they were so insanely stupid, might want to walk in and go, oh, I can fix Doctor Who. I can repair the damage that was done by the fucking woman with her ridiculous facial expressions and the giant gay dude who just flounced around in a skirt and virtue signal for 2 damn seasons. Oh, I can fix that. I can fix it. Damn, man. The show's done. It's dead. It's been murdered. Let it die. What that means for Piper is unclear, though the credits crucially didn't announce her as the Doctor. Yes, there's still one more series to come out, The War Between the Land and the Sea. Doesn't include the Doctor. I don't care about this piece of shit. Oh, here we go. It's going to be Game of Banging Space Bitches or Sea Bitches. That's what it's going to be. Because Russell T. Davis, whenever he makes spin-offs, he makes them adult. He doesn't make them for kids. Apart from the Sarah Jane Adventures, which he just did for Elizabeth Sladen, but she's long gone now, unfortunately. Rest in peace, ma'am. Well, there you go. That's it. That's it. So, big surprise, guys. The leak explains why Ncuti Gatwa left the series. And why was it again? For all the reasons we fucking knew. Because Disney are not going to finance Series 3. And they didn't because it was not a ratings success. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck. If it walks like a woke and quacks like a woke, it's a woke. Occam's razor. Simplest solution, more often than not, the correct one. So there you go. Get wrecked. Bye-bye. Na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na. Hey, hey, hey. Fuck off. There you go. That's it. Goodbye, Ncuti Gatwa. All right, let's talk about something else. We have to talk about an insane bitch. A completely insane feminist psycho who, frankly, is making a humiliating embarrassment of herself. As always, this currently blonde-haired maniac is destroying herself. I am talking, of course, about Body Blue. Why? Did you think I was talking about somebody else? As if I would talk about a non-entity like her. She's not been relevant since we found out the truth about the LOL suit, and everything got proven that we were right in the first place. It's about censorship. It's about mass censorship. There's nothing I have to say about her. Just let her continue to do what she's doing. She's got so much rope now. She'll probably need a, no, you know what? It's probably not a good idea to say that right now. Not at this time. But no, I am in fact talking about Bonnie Blue. Yeah. The woman who is second most likely to be categorized as an insane feminist who's destroying her own life. But there you go. Don't know who the hell you guys are thinking of. Couldn't possibly imagine that. But anyway, this crazy bitch is doing something else. Remember, you might remember Bonnie Blue as the British OnlyFans star. I don't normally talk about this kind of stuff, but this is too much. This is too crazy. I have to talk about it. You may know Bonnie Blue as a British OnlyFans hag who decided that she was going to get railed by 1,000 men in one day, and did. She broke the record, the world record for getting completely violated and, desecrated. And for some reason, she hasn't yet quite hit mental breakdown. But I'm sure it will come one day. And she gets to about 35, 40 years old. I'd say she's got a more chance of joining the 41% than making it to 42. But hey, I don't know. No, Lily Phillips is the other one. Maybe Bonnie Blue is Australian. One of them's Australian, one of them's British. Lily Phillips and Bonnie Blue, there's two of them. They're in constant competition with each other to be the biggest whores in the world. Literally. I don't know how much KY they had to go through to get that pulled off. But, well, she's decided that wasn't enough. Cuckoo, hello. She has decided that she hasn't had enough cock yet. So she's going to go ahead. Let's just get into it. Fuck it. No, today I am not actually talking about Slack Alice. No, we're talking about Body Blue. Slack Alice can continue to do whatever the hell she wants, frankly, and keep announcing that she's doing it. And all right, whatever, we'll see what happens when the class action comes. But anyway, here we go then. We've got this clip that was shared earlier on from Clown World. You may follow them on X. I certainly do. And this is her plan on the 15th of June. Okay, ready? Here we go.
15th of June, I'm going to be tied up in a glass box and open to the public.
What? She's going to what?
What? What the fuck?
That was weird. Don't know what happened, but for some reason, my settings got completely reset. I am so fucking tired of StreamYard. I'm probably going to try and find a solution, an alternative fairly soon, because this is getting a bit beyond the joke. They are useless, and I'm paying them far too much money to be getting completely screwed over by this. You know, just unprofessional shite. Anyway, no, this is crazy. We need to observe this, guys. This is why we're talking about this, because it's insanity to a level that, like, I'm sorry to inflict this on you, but you need to know that this kind of crazy shit is going on in the world. Because you know, if you got kids or you got or any influence over anyone whatsoever, you need to make sure that they have no fucking way of contacting or getting involved with or being influenced in any way by this deranged harpy.
She's the public. You can choose.
She's going to tie herself up in a glass box and be open. And I assure you that is quite literal. Open to the public.
15th of June, I'm going to be tied up in a glass box and open to the public. You can choose to either get involved or just walk around, watch, enjoy the show. But yeah, the website is back up and working. So if you want to get involved, then please do.
Yeah. She is going for her goal now of basically being a public service prostitute for free to anyone who wants to show up and stick it in, with the goal of hitting 2,000 men in a day, or getting hit by 2,000 men in a day. I don't want to know what her parents must think. If I were her father, I think that would be something that would probably drive me to end it all. I genuinely don't know if I could live with the knowledge of something like that. I have a little girl, right? I have a 1 year. She's almost one. It's almost been a year since she was born, guys. Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? Fucking crazy, right? It still feels like yesterday I was sitting on WTF Live telling you guys I might have to go any second in case my wife goes into labor. And now here we are. First birthday coming up. Crazy. Anyway, you know, I would drop dead to save that kid from absolutely anything bad that might happen. I'm about to have another one too. Next month, Princess 2 is going to be born. And, well, we're not sure exactly when yet because it's all a thing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, so the point is, if I had to think about, like, if I had a child who I'd raised from being a baby, from an infant, from her first breath, from her first suckle on the teat, right up to this, I don't know if I could live with myself. I really don't know if I could. I think it would be the most heartbreaking thing I could imagine in my entire world. I just cannot stomach it. It's disgusting. That's why I want to talk about it. Because unfortunately, whether I talk about it or not, it's a thing. And someone should let people know about this crap. It's disgusting. This ain't even the village bicycle at this point. This is a pile of fucking rust and dust. It's been ridden so many times. There's no bike left. The wheels fell off years ago. William Hestelow for $5 says, can you imagine Bonnie Blue explaining to her future child what she did to get famous? I mean, I don't even know how the hell she would be able to have a child. I mean, all jokes aside, no, fuck that. I never agreed to that. I mean, you get her pregnant, the kid falls out in like 4 months. I can't imagine. Imagine if your mother as well. That's even worse. Maybe. No, that's not. It's not even worse. It's bad enough. You know how easily it is to piss off a teenage boy when you haven't got any kind of emotional robustness yet. And someone says, I shagged your mom. It's funny later in life. You go, yeah, she said you were shit, you know, stuff like that. But when you're young, you know, people are like, you're going to get punched in the face for saying stuff like that in school. But with this kid, that kid has, if she ever has a kid, that kid goes to school, someone goes, your mom is Bonnie Blue. There's going to be someone who knows, like your mom was railed by thousands of different men. Thousands. Used like a piece of fucking meat. And she thought it was empowering. I don't think she'll have kids. I don't. I really don't. At this point, I'd worry about being sterile if I were her. Anyway, I think it would just be hilarious if you found like a 1,001 pump, you know, guys, and just every single one of them just cream pied her. She just inevitably ruin her life. It would be hilarious. But of course, they won't allow that. She'll obviously have security around her. Imagine being a security guard and having to work that event. Imagine something like that. Fucking hell. There's so many levels of this you can think of, and you don't want to, but you have to. Thank you, William. Nice name, by the way. Anyway, I got a little bit more about this here because I want to just read into it because I know it's fucked up, right? But it's important shit. Like, this stuff happens in the world. It's going to happen. And you need to be informed. Frankly, I feel that way. Bonnie Blue OnlyFans star main TikTok and Instagram accounts disappear after the 2,000 men sex stunt announcement. The main TikTok and Instagram accounts of Prawn and Only Freaks star Bonnie Blue appear to have been removed the day after she announced her plan for 2,000 in a day. The 26-year-old, whose real name is Tia Billinger, made headlines earlier this year after claiming she had done it with 1,057 men in 12 hours. Now she says she intends to break her own record. Justin Time is here as a member for 2 months now, and let's not forget that member is a GIGACHUD level. Good God, man. Thank you for the support. Teach your daughters how to think for themselves and defend themselves mentally and physically, and you will do more for them than modern feminism ever will. Fucking A. How to have some self-respect, and how to not get used, and how to not fall for the BS, and how to just be a good father, basically. Protect your little girl and teach her how to protect herself. And wherever possible, point out the inherent flaws of feminism. Yeah. There's no way my kid will be a feminist. There's no chance in hell. Or the other one. Adam Juneman for $5. She is going to be used rancid meat, and she will need surgery to fix herself because she is going to fall apart at the vagina. Yeah. To be honest, I have no idea what the medical and physiological complications of stuff like this actually are. But I imagine they're pretty bad. I don't know what precautions you can realistically take. Like, what's next? 3,000? 4,000 in a spit roast? She's just desecrating the idea of the sanctity of her body as a temple. You know, that idea to her is not, it does not compute. Yes, you're supposed to perceive, especially female body, your body is a temple. But Bonnie Blue, she sees her body as a ghetto. It's fucking ratchet shit, man. It's beyond that. I don't know how to define it. There is no term dirty enough for a woman like this. There we go. Thank you, Adam. 1 million men. 1 million penises. Da, 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 da. So she wants to break a record in a video shared on both her now vanished Bonnie Blue XOX TikTok and Instagram account on June 1st. Bonnie said 15th of June, going to be tied up in a glass box wide open to the public. So I assume, hopefully, that it will be in some kind of establishment, not, you know, not like a department store window, you know, so you can just see it from the street. That would be, I think that would have to get shut down. That would be massively illegal. And you can choose either you want to be involved or watch and just enjoy the show. Plenty of places have got red light districts and stuff. Amsterdam, you know, they have the hookers in the windows and stuff like that. But not getting railed by 2,000 men. It's so stupid that I even have to fucking talk about that. I have to say that in a sentence. Picasso, member for 1 month. Thank you. Says, happy Monday, everyone. Stay safe. Stay clean. Agreed. Join the Grift Force, guys. More members, more people in the credits, more emojis, more everything for everybody. Thank you very much. Anyway, let's carry on. The event, she says, is scheduled to take place in London. It follows an earlier video posted May 29th when she told followers, I want to hit 2,000 bodies. And to be honest, I think it's going to be pretty easy. She's going to be tied up and accessible to the public. She says, I really want you to come and join me. Fuck. As of Monday, both her primary Instagram and TikTok profiles, where she had amassed hundreds of thousands of followers, appeared to be offline, sparking speculation that the platforms may have removed the accounts following the public stunt announcement. She needs to be, like, I'm sorry, I don't agree with deplatforming, but that's a step too far. That's several fucking leaps too far. Okay? She's literally using her platforms to solicit. That's what she's doing. That's what she said.
15th of June, I'm going to be tied up in a glass box and open to the public. You can choose to either get involved or just walk around.
That is soliciting. That's offering you to come and fuck her using her social media. Adam Juneman, Super Saiyan God Adam Juneman, for $2 says, come on, you don't want free STDs? Exactly. I mean, there's got to be a problem with this, right? I mean, I'm sure they're doling out thousands of condoms, but nature's probably desperate to get this woman. You know? Nature's like tied up. The one who's tied up, that's nature's going, God, let me at her. God, let me get her some HIV. You know? It's fucking embarrassing to the human race, man. This is beyond anything else we've seen. It's cringe. So yeah, apparently her ex and her second Instagram and her second TikTok account remain active. So probably the accounts where she didn't announce a free come get it fucking trough of pussy. Jesus Christ. I don't think even the word pussy is fitting here. I don't know what word you could use, but I'm pretty sure I can't say it on fucking YouTube. Anyway, God, what a degenerate. Just to imagine living in this fucking timeline where stuff like this is involved. No, people don't have to pay. Nah. Apparently not. Although maybe, I don't know, did they have to pay before? If there's a monetary transaction, then it is prostitution. So I don't think she's allowed. I think she gets money through her OnlyFans and stuff, and that this will go on there or something like that. But yeah, it's pretty crazy. Where the hell are they going to do it? She worked in recruitment before her adult career and was previously married. Didn't she used to post pictures of herself with her husband, or is that Lily Phillips? Because her husband, one of them had a husband who used to say like how proud he was of it. It's like, dude, Aaron Imholte was not that big a cuck. Jack Murphy was not that big a cuck. Jesus Christ. She should have Trojan Man sponsor her, yeah? Oh, man, I don't think they would want anything to do with this, to be honest. I don't think any official company should or would ever want to have anything to do with this. I don't think Pornhub would want anything to do with this. Grim. Grimmer than anything else I've ever seen that's grim. That's fucking grim. Anyway, let's move past this. We've got a couple other short stories we can get to before we get to the main event. I just thought it would be worth taking you to hell first, and I do apologize for it, but I did say, and I do advertise, that this show is a never-ending quest to rid the universe of absolute bollocks, a voyage of discovery through the wastes of the internet. You know, this kind of story, as disgusting as it is, needs to be included. I know, it sucks, but I felt like I had a responsibility to make some of you guys aware that this kind of disgusting shit is happening. And why isn't anybody trying to do anything about it? Why aren't there protests? Why is no one doing anything to try and save this young woman's, do you know, fucking, I'm going to just say soul, even though I'm not religious, because I don't know what the fuck you have to do to to do anything about this. I don't know. Let's find out what happened to her husband. Yeah, go on. Let's see. We've got a Google hit here from an AI. I can have a quick look at that. Her husband, Oliver Davidson, have separated, but they remain on good terms. It was to do possibly with OnlyFans. She clarified they were already separated before she gained fame. He supports her work, helping her behind the scenes with tasks and production. And yeah, the whole time he's like, yeah, get fucking destroyed, you bitch. I mean, it would be pretty hilarious if, I know I am quite a punny guy, but that one was accident. You know, if I was her ex-husband, a part of my brain would be in the darkest doldrums going, yeah, get railed to death, you fucking hag. Unfortunately. It's unfortunate. I don't want to say that on YouTube. And by the way, I mean no act of violence against anybody. Disclaimer, that is just an opinion. It is not there to instruct anybody or inform or influence anybody in any way, shape, or form. It's just what I imagine must be going through her poor ex-husband's mind. When you marry someone and you think to yourself, well, this is this lovely woman who I've fallen in love with, and now look at her. And you're helping? Maybe he just wants to watch her destroy herself. Anyway, they were married for 10 years and separated before she became known for OnlyFans. So she must have been a whore before that anyway. I mean, I'm sure she cheated on him or something. Supports her career and helps. Fucking hell. Since they are married, he receives a portion of her income. They are still married, but they separated. They have separated her husband. She doesn't say ex-husband, so she's still married to him. Oh, man. No divorce. They are not divorced. Buddy. That's dark, man. Okay, that's as dark as I'm going to get today. Let's move on to something else. So apparently, with the upheaval in game pricing that's been going on lately in the game space, it turns out now that the Xbox Series X is currently only very slightly cheaper than the PS5, which is far more powerful. So the half-baked Xbox is actually slightly cheaper. It's only $70 cheaper than the 2 terabyte Xbox Series X. And also, that's the PlayStation 5, which is cheaper. The Xbox Series S, fuck's sake, you had to pick 2 letters that sound very similar, didn't you? Sony has slashed the price of its consoles by $50 across the board during its Days of Play event. As a result, the base Series S, fucking hell, Will, is only $20 less than the PlayStation 5 Digital Edition. While the equivalent Series S 1 terabyte is actually $30 more than a PlayStation 5, but the PlayStation 5 is far more powerful. That means you can get a PlayStation 5 and a 24-pack of Mountain Dew for less than the price of an Xbox Series S. I think you mean X. I don't know. The per dollar price delta is even worse in other markets, such as the UK and the EU. Microsoft, with all the money you're making, why was this allowed to happen? It's important to understand the PlayStation sale is only temporary and ends on June 11th. Are you going to get a PS5? I'm fucking not. But this comes only weeks after Microsoft raised the price of their consoles in response to the ongoing tariff war. God damn it. Blame it on the orange man. Don't blame it on the sunshine. Blame it on Trump. With one raising prices and the other lowering them, it's challenging to understand what's happening. Sony has been pushing this sales event hard, with ads appearing across Reddit and other forms of social media. As for Microsoft, official sales on its consoles have been few and far between, and its marketing for consoles have been even more anemic. Yeah, nobody wants this trash pile. Who wants an Xbox in 2025? What's the fucking point? You can get all the games on PC. And you can have a PC at the same time, you know, for other uses. Steam, Epic Games. Hell, if you really want to, you can play PlayStation Plus on your PC. But yeah. On May 1st, Microsoft made the announcement, sneakily tucked away. Nice writing, by the way. On a help page, we understand that these changes are challenging and they were made with careful consideration given market conditions and the rising cost of development. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play more games across any screen and ensuring value for Xbox players. Are they actually trying to sabotage their own console division? What do you guys think? I don't know, because you can get almost everything that's on Xbox on PC. You can play Xbox Game Pass or just Xbox games on PC or Steam Deck. So what's the point in owning an Xbox? And their response is to raise the prices. I swear to you, there's someone in Xbox who wants this to be the end of Xbox as a console company. They do. They really don't want to make consoles anymore. Not all games. Well, most of them, I'm sure. I just don't understand why you would want one of these things. Some of you have got them. Fair enough. That's up to you. A lot of people are just brand loyal. I understand that. Although, to be fair, if you're a Microsoft Xbox brand loyalist, you have been kicked around more than Bonnie Blue. Like, genuinely, like, they have fucked their customers so many times. They should have an OnlyFans account. As a result, the prices of their SKUs increased. Now, thanks to PlayStation Days of Play event, Xbox's new pricing is getting absolutely wrecked. Xbox Series S, $379. Xbox Series S, 1 terabyte, $429. PlayStation 5 Digital Edition Black Ops Bundle, 1 terabyte, $399. Oof. You own shares in Microsoft? Oh, Microsoft's not going to get wrecked. Microsoft's got like a $3 trillion market cap or something crazy like that. They'll be fine. But the Xbox brand has got to have some serious upheaval. If they ever announce another Xbox console, my jaw will hit the floor. I don't know why they would even bother at this point. But it is what it is. Anyway, Xbox Series S, $512, $379. That's basically the same. That's exactly the same. I'm reading the same thing again. Sorry. Xbox Series X, $599. PlayStation Disc Edition, $449. Xbox Series X, 2 terabytes, $729. Are you fucking joking? PlayStation 5 Pro, $650. Whatever. I mean, I don't do consoles anymore anyway. I've had enough consoles for the rest of my life. I've got enough consoles. There are several different angles from which to approach this when analyzing the two strikingly different positions. When looking at Microsoft, you have to account for their push on this is an Xbox in terms of how they view their hardware. At the end of the day, they don't necessarily care where you play their games, just that you're playing them, like their recent announcement that Doom, the Dark Ages, managed to hit over 3 million players. This is becoming more and more viral, this whole counting players rather than sales metric. And you need to call it out, because it's gaslighting. It's not maybe quite gaslighting, but it's certainly flagrant misrepresentation of your actual success. No question about it. On the other hand, PlayStation's business model has always been first and foremost its consoles. PlayStation launches its games, sometimes day and date on Steam, but this is early in its ever-growing ecosystem. To be honest, I think consoles are done at this point. It's been a long time coming, but since the PS3 Xbox generation, when suddenly games needed to be installed on the machine and needed patches and updates and stuff like that, and DLC and DRM and blah, 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 they're just becoming worse PCs. It's completely lost track of the reason consoles existed in the first place, which was PCs are too expensive and too hard to get a game to run on. That's how it used to be before Steam and all the others. It used to be that PC was a far more complicated beast to get a game to run on. You needed to check your specifications. You needed to check them against this game. Everything was released under different companies, different brands, etc., etc. Now everything's on Steam. It's much easier. PCs, of course, are also far more affordable than they used to be. Like pound for pound technological power, you basically would have to spend like $2,000 to get a machine that you can put together now for about $700 or $800. The price of technology has dramatically dropped. So there's really no point in a console when it doesn't do what a console is supposed to do, which is the other selling point of consoles, even when PC began to take on a larger and larger proportion of gamers, which is now like over 60%, by the way. But back then, the point was plug and play. Put it in the cartridge, turn it on, game starts. play game, enjoy game, turn off when you're done and go to bed. Then it was, discs and stuff, and oh god, they won't read the disc. And then it was fucking digital, and digital was supposed to pass the savings on to the customer, never consumer. And that didn't happen, did it? No, they became even more expensive. Gaming, AAA gaming especially, is fucked. Absolutely wrecked. Hypnotic's right for focusing on AA and indie. Absolutely, we should all be doing that. We absolutely should all be doing that. Indie, AA, and retro. That's what we should be doing. There's bugger all point in supporting AAA now because they hate us. They're not the only ones launching every exclusive across their own console and Windows PC simultaneously, not to mention they're not the only current console manufacturer launching some of their premium exclusive titles on other platforms, such as Gears of War and Forza Horizon, among others that are sure to follow, given they're all best sellers. So what exactly are Microsoft doing? Intentionally reducing the value of the console while significantly increasing the cost of entry into the ecosystem. Yeah. The only one who's not presently offering the easiest form of dedicated hardware entry to play some of your games is Sony. Is that what you wanted? Maybe. Maybe that's it. Of course, they're blaming the tariffs too. The tariff question was also thrown into further turmoil, though, after a US judiciary panel decided Trump's tariffs were beyond the scope of the president's authority. Supreme Court may have to step in to resolve the impasse too. Trump has the authority to do that. He is the executive. It's fucking ridiculous. In that universe, what does Microsoft do with his Xbox consoles, whose prices were increased in response to the tariffs? And that's before we even get to the $80 games. Psh. Felt it. Get wrecked. Get wrecked. Now, there's another story. A few people have already talked about it, so I won't linger on it too long. I want to carry on and get to the main meat of the issue, and that is that the Black Panther game was cancelled because it wasn't far along enough in development. Your Wii plays GameCube games. So does mine. Earlier this week, it was revealed that EA had cancelled the in-development Black Panther game and shut down its developer Cliffhanger Studios. Get wrecked. Daddy Lalondas, whatever her fucking name is. White people make an unsafe environment. I'm not saying that. Oh, shut up and get in the seat. You tart. Thanks to a new report from Jason Schreier, there is some more information regarding why the game was cancelled. Per Schreier, the cancellation was viewed as a shock to employees of the studio. Well, I mean, if you're actually no good at your job and you've just sat around with your thumb up your ass for the last 4 years drawing pictures of Black Panther and talking about making a game, you're fucked. If by contrast, before we get to them, Sandfall, the company that made Expedition 33, they spent the first 2 years making a demo of their game to recruit talent and build up their team. Then they spent 2 years just basically improving everything, learning Unreal Engine 5 and getting everything into position, getting backing, getting Kepler Interactive, supporting them, and building the company first. Always with a very stringent view on what they were trying to make. And then after 4 years, they actually had something to show for it. They then spent 2 years just improving it over and over and over and over again. The first thing they did, though, was make something you could play, something you could watch, something to give you an idea what the game was. And yeah, it looked like PS2 graphics in some cases and PS3 graphics in other cases, but it worked out really well now, didn't it? Now it's the genre-defining JRPG reviving game of a fucking generation. And there you go. It's the Witcher 3 of this generation. Anyway, Cliffhanger reportedly had been actively hiring new employees with the Black Panther game recently hitting a new internal milestone. However, despite hitting the milestone, there was frustration within EA. They were frustrated that the game had not left the pre-production phase after nearly 4 years in development. 4 years, and they still hadn't made a damn thing. What the fuck? This is your activism. This is your AAA game industry. A team that started off with 12 and ultimately ended up with 33 people were able to put out a game. Yeah, it took them 6 years, but they put out such a game. And they had something to show for it after 4 years. A new company, a new partnership, a lot of potential, great talent and passion, and a demo. What do they have at EA? Remind you, by the way, the team that made Expedition 33 is smaller than the microtransaction team at EA. The dedicated monetization team at EA, bigger than Sandfall Interactive. Embarrassing. Thank you for stopping by, William. Appreciate you. Catch you on the next one. As for why it was taking so long in the game's development, which began in 2021 but was announced in 2023, the studio had just started to increase its staff count. The report says that many of the workers at Cliffhanger had been hired within the last year. They're still hiring? Some, Schreier says, were only with the developer for as little as months and weeks. Schedule 1, that's worth remembering too. One guy made Schedule 1. Insider Gaming has made multiple attempts to reach the studio for comment on how many employees were being moved to other studios and the exact number being let go. As of publishing, no response has been received, and you will never find out because it's virtually all of them. Guarantee it. 1 second. There you go. Despite Black Panther being cancelled, EA has gone on the record to say there will still be 3 Marvel games released, including Motive's Iron Man. That's going to get wrecked. No one cares anymore, man. Marvel's dead. Marvel as a brand is dead. So there you go. They didn't actually make anything in 4 years. Fucking hell. All right, guys, let's have a look here. Did we get any supers in there? No, nothing since we were talking about Body Blue. Well, there you go. See, it was worth talking about that. Anyway, guys, help me get to at least $50 so I can do some more gaming later. I really want to get Expedition 33, at least the story, finished this week because I have to. It's gone on too long. Then we can talk about endgame content and stuff like that afterwards. But I have to move on. There's other games I need to be playing. So help me to help you. Anyway, in the meantime, let's talk about Expedition 33. Because there's a couple of things here. A couple of things we need to do. And it's just very interesting to see just exactly what has happened with this game. Because, well, I can't believe I'm about to do this, but there is an article, and the article is at Kotaku. I know. Somebody actually wrote, Ethan Gatch actually wrote a gaming article on Kotaku. Unbelievable, isn't it? But what's really unbelievable is what he's going to say. Claire Obscure, Expedition 33 publisher, says fans would never guess the hit RPG's budget. I'm sure Mirror's Edge and Vanquish cost more. uafomega for a $5 super sticker says, keep it up. Well, I certainly can. I'll certainly keep going. I don't know about the guys who are going to have to go, 1300th in line for Bonnie Blue. They might have some trouble keeping it up, but you know what I mean? Thank you very much, buddy. $5 to say 3 little words. Legend. All right. The head of Kepler Interactive says big budget games are out of control. It seems that now with the vindication of gamers supporting them, Samfall and Kepler are free to take the swings that they have wanted to take at the AAA game industry. Because let's not forget that Guillaume Broche, the creator of the head of Sandfall Interactive, was dropped as a narrative. He was dumped onto a mobile project of Might and Magic as the narrative designer. Imagine being the narrative designer on a MOBA. God damn, that must be seriously disheartening. Imagine being told you're in charge of the story for a fucking gacha game. No chance in hell. Garrett Griffin for $10. My first super chat. Good to be able to pay you back for all the attainment. Thank you. I appreciate that greatly. I really do. And it's a 10-bagger, so let's drop it. Drop it. Yeah, baby. Thank you very much for the $10 from Garrett Griffin. Appreciate you, man. That was really generous. Thank you. And we're much closer to hitting the gaming goal anyway, so that's great. Thank you. RDH Raging D-Head member for 6 months now says, happy Corporate Panda Month. That's right. Felt the pride. Join the GRIFT. Thank you very much, Raging D-Head. Long-time supporter of the channel. Appreciate you. Okay, so this is the article. I can't believe I'm reading from Kotaku. Raging D-Head for another $2 says, R.I.P. John Redcorn. Oh, no. What the hell? That's no good, man. King of the Hill. King of the Hill. The voice actor is dead? Really? Killed in a shooting. Mate. That's crap. That's fucking terrible. God damn. Didn't even know that. Wow. Rest in peace, sir. And thank you for letting me know, man. Fucking hell, that's really crappy news. Damn. Yeah. Respect. Well, there you go, I guess. So anyway, Claire Obscure Expedition 33 is one of the top rated games of the year and has sold over 3.3 million copies. Fuck's sake, here we go again. Shot for being gay. Oh no, really? So they're gonna that's not gonna do anything any good, is it? Fuck. Can people stop shooting gay people, please? It just makes us look like a bunch of assholes. Fucking hell. Makes anyone who opposes pride look like they're the kind of person who would do this. Why do people not get that we don't want any of this to represent any of us? Any of us who oppose the politicization of cultural Marxism, read wokeness, by the way. We do not want them to... God damn it, man. We oppose the politicization. We oppose the dividing of groups into classes by identity. We do not oppose people who can't help what they are. Okay? There is a big difference. And burn in hell whoever shot him. Yeah! God's sakes. Never save society like this. Anyway, that's terrible. His house was torched and 3 of his dogs were... God, Jesus Christ! How much worse can this get? The hell else is going to happen? You're going to tell me they found his partner strung up out back or something? Shite. Anyway. Shit, man. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 did it all with a very small budget, according to publisher Kepler Interactive. How small? Well, portfolio director Matthew Handrahan isn't saying, but he thinks everyone's guesses were probably wrong. Everybody's desperate to know what the budget is, and I won't tell them. What the hell? Oh, no. uafomega, more bad news. Levistro's granddad also passed. Oh, man. Poor Levistro. Shout out to Levistro. I don't know if he's here. I don't think he's here, but shout out to Levistro. Big supporter of Grift Force, Big Adverse, Smashers, everybody. And you know, thoughts and prayers, man. That is the worst. I've obviously, everyone knows I lost my mother a couple of years ago. My father is currently in bad shape. If you can give to the Give Send Go to help me get my hip replacement or just some better quality of life for him, you know, while he still has time with us, helpful. And you know, that just is the worst, isn't it? Levistro's granddad, was he close with him? He was like 107. Whoa, that is mad respect. That is mad respect. Well, shout out to Levistro and to uafomega for letting me know. And R.I.P. Levistro's granddad. For you, the war is over. There we go. Anyway, they're trying to guess what the budget is of Expedition 33. And he says, I would guarantee if you got 10 people to guess, all 10 wouldn't guess the actual figure. I'm sure Mirror's Edge and Vanquish cost more. Put it that way. That's crazy, isn't it? While they fit the risk-taking creative vibe of Expedition 33, they came out over a decade ago for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. Official development budgets weren't released for either, but M2 Research ballparked the cost of making a AAA game for those consoles at 18 to 28 million back in 2010. So it's going to be less than 18 million to make Expedition 33. I can believe it too. It's not actually that difficult if you aren't a greedy bastard and you cut out all middle management so there's nobody trying to siphon money away. And I remember Kepler Interactive are a great company, by the way. They are out to fund indie gamers, indie game studios, and it's their mission statement to allow them to have full creative control. The good guys of gaming. At least for now. Everything gets corrupted eventually. But right now, support Kepler Interactive and, of course, Sandfall. Great companies. Mad respect to them. Yeah. Okay. And let's get into it then, because there is a big interview that happened recently regarding Expedition 33. It happened on gamesindustry.biz. It's called the Big Claire Obscure Expedition 33 interview. Why can't I say that word today? Or spell it even? Sandfall and Kepler on team size, the return of AA games, and what's next. Now, I haven't finished Expedition 33, so as always, no fucking spoilers in the chat. You heard me? No spoilers. But what are we going to get? And is it going to be the ruination? Because when a game company suddenly does really well, you know what happens? Everybody wants to be a part of it. Everybody wants to get involved. Everybody wants to siphon off that money. Well, let's find out. And we are currently... Oh, no, we did in fact hit the target for a gaming stream. So thank you very much, guys. Appreciate you very much. Legends, go to get that money, money, money. Felt the journey.
Money, 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 print money, money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, money, more money, 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 heaps and heaps of money, 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 print money, money, cash, money, well, capitalism, raise a bunch of money, money, super chat, money.
As salty as the sea, calling us broke names. SJW screaming, but it's money they blame. Burning with envy, they're falling flat. They can't handle the sound of a super chat.
Damn, man. GOG is celebrating Pride? That sucks. Maybe somebody told them their name sounds like, you know, choking on something and they decided that they were gay. I don't know. Anyway, the success of Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which sold 2 million copies within 12 days and 3.3 within 33 days, don't forget the poetry of that, has meant all eyes are now on its developer Sandfall Interactive. As the games industry mulls how to move forward, faced with a saturated market, widespread layoffs, and spiraling development costs, the fact that an original title made by a relatively small team could see such massive success gives hope to everyone. Garrett Griffin, you out. Thank you very much for the 10, buddy. Appreciate you very much. It's also an empathic validation of the strategy of Claire Obscure's publisher, Kepler Interactive, which since its formation in 2021 has focused on original titles with eye-catching art styles and mold-breaking gameplay, including Sifu, Shia, Scorn, Pacific Drive, Ultros, Bionic Bay, and the upcoming Rematch. They respect creativity and innovation in games, and they have a very high standard in choosing games to publish. This is what Shuhei Yoshida said of Sony, and they are very fun people to work with. Enthuses Shuhei Yoshida, former president of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios, and now a freelance consultant for Kepler. Whoa! I did not know that. That is great. I mean, Shuhei has said a few things recently that have kind of pissed me off about, money in the game industry and the predictions of prices. Excuse me. Oh, God. Wow. Why am I yawning? Yoshida has been helping to evaluate game pitches for the publisher since he left Sony in January, as well as helping to promote Bionic Bay and Clair Obscur Expedition 33. They have a great balance in looking for innovation in games and investing in commercially viable projects, he says. I think the way Kepler chooses games and supports developers is a great example of sustainable indie publishing. I expect many companies in the industry will look for inspiration from what Kepler is doing. So far, no one's been able to prove that they have any ties to any of that shady fucking SBI shit, that Landfall Games or anything like that either. So they are apparently, ostensibly, a true indie publisher. And that is fantastic. Co-op mode. One thing that immediately marks out Kepler as different is its structure. Kepler is co-owned by a group of studios, but they all operate autonomously, explains portfolio director Matthew Handrahan, who joined Kepler from PlayStation in 2022. Before that, he was editor-in-chief of this very site. Okay. They make a lot of their choices creatively and commercially in terms of the direction of their business. But there is a collaborative aspect that they draw upon if they feel they need it. The thing that we definitely are very clear on is Kepler is not sitting here telling anyone what to do. If you go to Kepler with a game idea and you are serious and they like your pitch, you will get to make the game that you want to make how you want to make it. Hell yeah. Mad respect for that. Brilliant. The idea is that Kepler can provide support into each studio in terms of things like HR, legal teams, and IT, and each one of them can draw on that to the degree that they want to, in the belief that if you give people that solid base, they can just focus more on being creative. Is it me, or does all of this make fucking stone cold sense, chat? It seems to me like things are going very, very well over at Kepler because of this exact philosophy. And that is great, great thing. But there we go. But the plan was always for Kepler to become a third-party publisher, he continues. So in addition to publishing games from its own studios since 2024, Kepler started releasing games from outside developers like Pacific Drive, Clair Obscur, and the newly signed PVKK from Bibbin Bits, the creators of Dome Keeper. As we go forward, what we really hope is that people can spot a Kepler game, says Handrahan. Well, if you end up with a reputation as a studio, or not a studio, but a publisher that allows studios to make what they want to make, and the result is more and more and more Expedition 33 level success stories, then yeah, that's gonna happen. It's gonna be great. So what marks out a Kepler title? CEO Alexis Garavarian, I think. Skibbity for €2.50. Thank you very much. Says emphasis on commercially viable. Yeah, everything has to be commercially viable. But the thing that the AAA game industry don't understand is that commercial viability and creativity are not mutually exclusive things. They're too risk averse. And as long as they are, they will never succeed, because you only succeed when you shoot for the stars. If you just continue to produce the old mass-produced sludge every year, you will only get the same results every year until they diminish because people get bored. Thank you very much for the 250, bud. Yeah. So he's previously emphasized the publisher champions games with bold art direction and innovative game design that avoid familiar influences like Star Wars and superheroes. Wonderful. Can't trust that dude Alexis has Aryan in his name. Hanrahan says this is essential in today's market. I remember writing about Steam being overcrowded for gamesindustry.biz 10 years ago and saying, oh, there's too many games. Well, if there's 5 times more games being released now, there are 5 times more games being released now. So if you're coming to market with a game, it better be doing something genuinely fresh. Fuck me, look at this logic bomb, just nuking the whole concept of the AAA risk-averse, homogenized, same shit, different day model. Fantastic. Sorry, guys. Voice starts to hurt after 2 hours of talking nonstop. You know how it is. What Kepler definitely isn't doing is chasing trends with Handrahan, which Handrahan says is a dangerous strategy. He gives the example of Balatro imitators. If you're making someone hot on the heels of that, by the time you get to market, there'll probably be 150 other alternatives. Exactly. One can't help thinking, too, of the expensive failure of Concord at PlayStation, which proved to be one hero shooter too many. Well, yes and no. It was one hero shooter too many. It was also... well, it was one gay hero shooter too many. And one gay hero shooter is one gay hero shooter too many. So, yeah, that's another reason. The next expedition. Sandfall's CEO and brother Francois Meurice says that the fact the studio head Guillaume Broche was deliberately avoiding chasing trends with Clair Obscur was what attracted him to join in the first place. There we go. Epic is going to help creators now after beating Apple in court. Good news. He was immediately on board with Broche's passion for revitalizing the kind of flashy 3D JRPGs that had long gone out of fashion. Why did they go out of fashion? It wasn't by accident. Square Enix kept turning around and telling us nobody wants this stuff. Well, turns out, fuck you. People do want this stuff. There you go. That passion came first. The strategy came later. A bit after, when we tried to rationalize the yearning he has for this kind of game, we realized it wasn't addressed as much in the market, and maybe there was a place for it, says Maurice. Oh, well, look at me. Look at that. Fuck me. If it isn't the fact that JRPGs that are flashy and modern and have up-to-date graphics and still can tell a great story and have a few extra bells and whistles added on that are not bells and whistles, but basically modern leaps forward of the genre, guess what, guys? You're going to make millions of fucking dollars. The end result went beyond their wildest dreams. The game has had success to an extent that we didn't imagine. We smashed our forecasts pretty fast. Yeah. Let's have a look just quickly here. I want to see how the game has done more recently on Steam. 145,000 was the all-time peak a month ago. Still 31,000 people playing it now. That is a healthy game. Doing fine. No concern. Naturally, thoughts are already turning to a follow-up. There will be another video game for sure, says Maurice, adding that it is a little early to say exactly what form it will take. I can't wait to dig more into the ideas we already have for the next game, he says. I mean, I hope they'll continue to make JRPGs. I feel like if Expedition 33 continues to have the legacy that it does, then it is the Final Fantasy VII of this generation. Now, it's not going to be as big as Final Fantasy VII was because no one was ready for that. But there's money on the table and you are leaving it there if you do not try to make a JRPG. This is why I want to make one on RPG Maker with you guys, which you suggested, which is another thing I need to get to. I'm just having trouble scheduling times we can actually start that. But I have some ideas. Plus, the team has grown up, has acquired new skills throughout production. He says many of them were junior when we started. We learned to work together. So I can't wait to get to the next project because we'll start from a more efficient position than when we started the company 5 years ago. And that comes with higher expectations as well. So it will be challenging. But I can say that we have, and Guillaume in particular has great ideas for the next game. Nice name, by the way, William in French. Okay, AA comeback then. The success of Clair Obscur has led many to herald the comeback of AA games. Yeah, literally all of us. A sector that has shrunk significantly over the past couple of console generations, just like indie film. And the middle class. Even if it's a harder category to define in 2025 based on a lack of publicly available budget numbers, some people predicted to us that it was a tricky sector when we started development, and there could be kind of a curse on AA games, remembers Maurice. But from our perspective, we didn't care too much about market considerations. Look at them shirking all the fucking the tropes and stereotypes of the AAA game industry. In a sense, A Plague Tale or Mortal Shell or Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, games like those were already proof for us that small teams of less than 50 people could have great games and great execution. Yeah, they can. They really can. Speaking of team size, much was made of the claim that Clair Obscur was created by a team of around 30, although many were quick to point out that the credits include dozens more people than that, working things like QA, localization, and voice production, as well as a gameplay animation team in Korea. What did I say? What did I say a few months ago? Of course, there are going to be animators in Korea. Korea is the center of all animation in the world.
I sure hope somebody picks up that phone.
Do what?
Because I f***ing called it!
It matters. It doesn't matter at all. The fact of the matter is the 30 people were in charge of the game and everyone else was just following orders. So yeah, it wasn't made by 30 people, but it was created by 30 people. There you go. So the game missold? I don't think so, says Handrahan. I think that the creative engine of the game was that group of 30. In terms of what the game is, the vision it had, a vision of it rather, and the way in which it's executed, that does come from a nucleus of staff that is at Sandful. Of course it is. In terms of main credits over the 4 years of production, we were on average about 30 people. We started with less than 10, scaled up till 30, then close to 40, then scaled down a little bit. You mentioned Korean animators, but it's important to mention that none of them were full-time. They were doing some extras because some other jobs of animation. Besides some other jobs of animation, God, I can't read today. Sorry, guys. So the core team was on average 30 people in the home studio, plus privileged contractors like the lead writer or the composer, for example. I include them in that core team. Oh yeah, the guy who wrote the soundtrack, he was found through like SoundCloud or something like that, or some French equivalent. I can't remember what it was, but he'd never worked on a game before. He was just a really passionate composer. In fact, if you look at some of the videos of the background stuff of what went on with the making of Clair Expedition 33, you will realize quickly that a lot of the people who created the game, the concept, and the company are singing in the choir of the main theme. It's astounding, actually. But of course, we had a galaxy of partners revolving around the project, Kepler in the first place. Now, what I really pinpointed, they were really key in the success of the game, plus some other creative people as well, like musician players, translators, QA testers too. And that definitely extends the team, and I'm super grateful we could work with all those super passionate partners from all over the world. I think people fixated on this number, adds Handrahan, but actually the more useful thing was it being said that this is not a AAA game, right? You can look at those credentials and it's still definitely not a AAA game. Dead right. Those kinds of games did exist in much greater numbers around 15 years ago, and I think there are some threads in the AAA game industry lost, and as they grew and grew and grew and brought in different ways of monetizing, he continues. We have to remember there was a time when AAA companies were making games like Vanquish and Mirror's Edge and Kane and Lynch and all these really cool, interesting, not small games, but much smaller scale games. And you've seen the number of releases from AAA publishers dwindle and dwindle and dwindle. Now there's an opportunity for teams like Sandfall to come in and give players something they have really not been able to get or been given for a really long time. Moving on, he asks about keeping the team small. With a success like Clair Obscur Expedition 33, the temptation might be to scale up the studio for a blockbuster sequel, a pattern we've seen with successful franchises many times before, but Maurice says that's something Sandfall wants to avoid. Good God, they're based as well. For now, our vision would be to stick to a close team working in the same city with less than 50 people on board, focusing on one project after another and keeping this agility and this creative strength. Yeah, because, you know, when you have a core creative team of like less than 10 people and they're led by 1 or 2 people, that is a very clear vision. When you have hundreds of people, middle managers arguing, debating, trying to add microtransactions, trying to make it okay, and of course DEI consultants coming in and stuff like that, you are fucked. You are never going to have a creative vision. It's game design, it's art by committee. It cannot work. It does not work. This is the only model that will ever work. The creative strength and smartness of a small group of passionate people wanting to do something big. Yeah. Much like the game itself, much like the JRPG trope of a ragtag gang, you know, taking on gods and stuff like that. That's how video games were made for years, he continues. The team that made Ocarina of Time or Half-Life 2, I think they were maximum 60 or 70 people. Asterisk there. Where does that go? What does that say? Fact check, it was 84 for Half-Life 2. Team behind Ocarina of Time was about 66 with additional QA testers. Fair enough. And that kind of size allows for good decisions and great creativity. He says, we want to keep the organization that made us successful. Brilliant. Fantastic. Imagine that, holding true to your values. He says, I think keeping a core team to hold the vision and build out what the game is and then expanding as you need to through things like outsourcing is a very smart and sustainable way to manage game development. Yeah, outsourcing. Why not? Do it. There's plenty of people, plenty of coders here in the Philippines. I used to have lots of employees in my outsourcing firm that were doing development for people all over the world. Cheaper. Man, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. I think that Red Bull I had is wearing off. I think there's been a lot of irresponsible practices in the industry. Some games can make it work. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to make it work. I think we can say with great confidence, but there are plenty of games made with very large teams and for huge amounts of money that don't land. Hello, Ubisoft. Hello, Star Wars Outlaws. Hello, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Hello, Dragon Age Veilguard. Hello, all these felted AAA games of the last year and a half. And there's a human cost in running things that way. People lose their jobs. God knows how many layoffs there's been in the industry over the last few years. Thousands of people have lost their jobs in the last couple of years. It is a bloodbath. He worries that the temptation to scale up is too great. I do see a lot of developers who ship a game and then get some level of success. Even very small levels of success or on very small budgets, then almost instinctively feel like they need to double or triple the budget of the next game. And that is something I definitely question. Yeah, well, they get influenced, don't they, by the rest of the people. They get invited to parties. They get talking to all these fucking wastrels, these charlatans. And before they know it, they're running a team of 150 people, blowing hundreds of millions of dollars on shit that's contested by committee and gets screwed with. Too many chefs, too many cooks spoil the broth, frankly. One of the things that's great about Expedition 33 is it really respects the player's time. It gives them plenty to do. It gives them plenty of satisfaction. Yeah, it's actually a little bit alarming how much there is to do in that game. I don't know if I have time for it, but it isn't arbitrarily 500 hours of gameplay. Hello, Ubisoft. It's impactful because it's scoped correctly. It doesn't have a sense of bloat or extraneous things that are put there just to make it larger and larger and larger and larger. Brevity should be a virtue in gaming. Something can be better by being shorter. Something's being discussed in film at the moment. Every film seems to be 2.5 hours long. Yeah, look at that Mission Impossible. I had to drop my niece and nephew off to watch that. I was like, you do realize that the first time going to the cinema, you're going to go watch an almost 3-hour long movie? You're going to be okay? They were. Though there were a couple of poop breaks. Can they all be a bit shorter, please? Because we have other things to do with our lives. Yeah, we're grown-ups. We're adults. We're parents. We're professionals. We have things we need to do. From the beginning, we wanted to do an intense and short experience. The first length estimates of the game were closer to 20 hours. I think we ended up closer to 30, even 40 if you take a bit of time. As a player, there are so many great games out there I want to experience, and what's important to me is the level of excitement and fun I get from a game. Oh, look at that. Just like GTA 5, one of the most successful game trailers of all time. What did it do? Looked like fun, rather than how long it is. He also questions the link between game length and price. The value that players get for games does not align systematically with the game's length. For example, one of my favorite games of all time is Inside, which lasts about 2 hours, but it's one of the most polished and intense experiences and even life-changing for some people. Ever played Thomas Was Alone? Ever? There we go. Okay, Hypnotic's on. Have to get to Rumble. That's fine. Totally fine. I'm going to wrap this up. I'll probably join Hypnos by the time he finishes his intro. So in about 6 hours. I think that as AAA price goes up, I think it creates more of an opportunity to be launching games, more sensibly scoped games, and pricing them at the $40 to $50 range. And I don't think anyone that played Expedition 33 would think they didn't get their money's worth out of that game. It's certainly not. Certainly not. When we announced the pricing at $50, we actually did have a little backlash online with people fearing it would be a 12-hour-long game with unfinished content. And it was suspicious to have a $50 game that was looking like this in the trailers. But in the end, we stuck with the price, we doubled down on it, and we provided some context about the fact that it wasn't a AAA game. In the end, it is a win-win situation because it was a way to attract more players towards the game, have good player satisfaction about their buying decision, and it could end up actually doing more sales. So maybe players' perception can change a bit about that kind of price point. So there you go. There's a lot more in this interview, so we'll just read the last bits. The art direction is very high quality. It's very, very bold. It has a strong narrative component. It has innovative gameplay design. Speaks to wider culture, not an insular vision. I think you get a lot of games that are they're kind of just about other games, and that's not something we're interested in necessarily. We definitely want there to be strong associations with the games that we do. Yes, an image of Rafiki. Yeah. Monoko, yeah. He's great. So if that is something that other publishers could imitate or follow along from, then all the better. Adding that it makes little sense for publishers to cast a broad net of styles and genres in such a crowded market. But of course, there is a risk to championing unique, untested visions. So what does Kepler do to mitigate that risk? We definitely do market research, says Handrahan. Though he adds that ultimately the process is subjective. I came to this company because I really trusted the taste of the people I work for. I've always felt that I'm really excited by a game. There'll be other people out there who are excited for it. Yes, you can test that against market research, and that's definitely a function we have in the company, and we use it. But our litmus test is a subjective level of entertainment and a belief in vision and creativity that we see in the games that we sign. I love this company. We want to be that in games. So there you go. Kepler Interactive, the good guys of gaming. There is maybe hope in AA. But there we go, guys. We are at 2 hours, 5 minutes. We're hit our principal goal for today, for this stream at least, although we'll be coming back in about 12 hours time for WTF Live. We'll be talking about a bit more Doctor Who, a bit more craziness, maybe a little bit of Bonnie Blue in there too, just to see how the gang reacts. We'll see. There's still a whole day's worth of news to come out. So I'll be back, of course, with that later on. And that is the show for now. Thank you very much for checking out episode 61 of HyperDrive Time here on Will of the Fans. I appreciate you. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed, please do. It helps massively, more than you could possibly imagine. Gotta do something about my dead voice. And thank you very much, and shout out to William Hestillo, Skibbity, Accident Seller, Justin Time, Adam Juneman, Picasso, Garrett Griffin, Raging D-Head, and James Opp and uafomega. You guys are legends. I appreciate you all massively. We will be back later with WTF Live. And before that, I'm going to try and get an Expedition 33 stream going in a few hours' time, maybe in about 6 hours' time, so that we can do something together on that as well. But till then, I've got plenty of other crap I got to get on with. You guys are most likely going to be on Hypnocast. I might see you in the chat while I'm lurking and running errands, and I'll catch you later. In the meantime, here's some outro credits that need to be updated still. Sorry about that. I'll do it today. And I'll catch you on the next one. Big love, massive thanks, and ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.